Alrighty, welcome back everyone. Now, as the title of the video suggests, we are going to be discussing the new greed of the Dragonflight event, the rewards, and basically my opinion on this whole, new event and everything. So, right off the bat, I'm just confused for the most part. Galactic Underwear actually put out a really good video and his opinion on it, discussing the rewards. And he said, and I quote in his video, "We have too much gear in the game already." End quote. But I can agree with that statement, but I also disagree with that statement because I personally like having a plethora of gear at my disposal. That way you can make certain builds. Now, there's always going to be that best in slot loadout with all the top end gear. However, there are tweaks and stuff that you can do. For instance, if you're looking right here, I put out my Warlock Guide video, and after tinkering with stuff, etc., even I make adjustments. For instance, the Dragonhide Choker, the Dragonhide Sash, and using the 3-piece set of the Red Dragon's Mark for more combat advantage. But that's like information that I don't release typically. So, having luxury in a game of Neverwinter, of having multiple ways to build your character, I'm okay with that. But at the same time, I do agree with him to a degree that we do have not only too much gear, but the recycling of gear is just, it's getting to a point where it's ridiculous. Like, they can't come up with any more ideas. So, we've seen most of these effects on the ring. If you didn't watch my preview video, you should go watch that first. If you haven't seen any of the gear yet, etc. But like just the rings, for example, I just don't understand. It's literally 50 item level less than the best in slot rings that we currently just got in Dragon Hunt, right? Mod 23, Dragon Hunts, introduced dragons into the game. So why all of a sudden did they decide to redo Dragonflight? Is it just because they're all dragon related? I don't know. I mean, I have a lot to say about this. There's a lot of opinions and there's a lot of directions that I need to go, and, I might branch off and lose track of my, thoughts. This is all completely unscripted, So, just looking at the rings alone, they're 50 item level less. Why would, waste your time getting any of these rings when you can get better rings in Dragon Hunts? Now, yes, these rings have a lot of different statistics that now people, again, can change their build around. However, why not just make all these rings mythic? And give them the extra 50 item level. Why is this, your current hit points, increases your critical severity up to a maximum of 5%, when we just had mythic rings that are only 50 item level more that add an extra 2%. So your critical strike from the Soothsayer ring is 7%. Why would you not just copy paste that and mimic that, make all of these rings mythic, give them the extra 50 item level, and give it the extra 2%? Because there's a few of these rings. There's a crit severity one now. I believe there's an accuracy one now or something. Here's the accuracy one. Why? Like, I just don't understand the logic behind it. I understand that they don't want everything to be best in slot, but at the same time, you have to give people incentive to do Dragonflight. It was another good point that Galactic pointed out in his video, is that this gear is just complete dog shit. The reinforced Dragonhide, it's garbage. Like, we just had Module 23, we have all the best in slot gear in the game already, and Cryptic is wasting development time putting gear in the game that nobody's going to use. And I've said this for years and years and years. Cryptic is horrible at item optimization. They do not know what they're doing when it comes to actually making and creating items in their own game. They're just clueless. They slap on the most random bonuses on pieces of gear with incorrect statistics on them, and it just drives me insane. So this gear is what, 450 item level less than the new Dragon Hunt gear that we just got in Module 23, right? The Reinforced Dragonflight is 1400. The Dragon Hunt gear is 1850, which also poses the question of why are these rings so much higher in item level than the gear? So the gear you can buy, right? You can buy all this gear from the Dragonflight vendor in your Stronghold. These rings you actually can only have a chance at getting once a day from a daily quest, which is ridiculous because how hard are these dragons? You're not soloing this content. This is a dying game, folks. It's going to be very hard to find 20 people a day to do this once a day. This should have been like a weekly quest at the minimum with better reward chances or different tiered rewards, etc. No one's going to do this every single day. It's going to be very hard for the average player to find 20 people in their guild to do Dragonflight once every day. I just don't see it happening. The game is 9 years old, guys. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's going to be very difficult. So this should have been a weekly quest at the minimum, not a daily quest, and the reward should have then been significantly increased to reflect that it's once a week, not once a day. I mean, I could be completely wrong. You might be able to solo that. Well, you can't solo it because you have to be in 4 different, spots at once. A dragon spawns here, dragon spawns here, dragon spawns here, dragon spawns here, right? It's the 4 corners of the map, essentially. So even if you could solo one dragon, you would still need 4 people, or 3 other people, 4 people total. So I highly doubt it's going to be soloable, for starters. So you're going to need at least one group of people, right? Probably 1 tank, 3 DPS, 1 healer per dragon. It's already almost impossible to find tanks and healers on Xbox. I don't know how it is on the PlayStation community or the PC community, but on Xbox it is just DPS all day, every day. Most people on Xbox have been playing so long that they do have multiple maxed out characters. I can go to one of my friends and say, hey, either play your tank, either play your heals, or your DPS, etc. You guys know I've only played one character throughout my career of Neverwinter. I don't have a tank. I don't have a healer. I play DPS. So finding 4 tanks, 4 healers is not going to be a pleasant time. Now, again, I don't know how hard the dragons are going to be, but they essentially took the old dragons out and put the dragons from the dragon hunts in to replace them. Now, the ancient dragons from the dragon hunts are not hard, but they are just riddled with mechanics that are beyond annoying. So I don't really know how hard it is. Now, a lot of people are going to comment and say, well, the argument is that this isn't meant to be best in slot gear. This is filler gear for newer or casual players to get this gear first so that it can assist them in getting better gear or best in slot gear by doing dragon hunts. Well, I'm here to tell you that's all nonsense. Because when I farmed all my dragon hunt gear, I had to do it on multiple tunes just because of the limitations of the currency you can get, right? Most people farmed dragon hunts on multiple characters, bought all the gear they needed, and then transferred all the gear to whatever character they wanted that gear on. So my baby rogue, for instance, who is, horrible. He has absolutely no gear whatsoever that is, anywhere near best in slot. His item level was the bare minimum to get in dragon hunts, and I did just fine. My rogue with absolutely horrible gear was still out DPSing people with better gear than him, which is just absolutely embarrassing because I don't know how to play a rogue and I just hit buttons, literally, and he has no gear to back up any of his statistics whatsoever. and even he was out DPSing. And that's all because of scaling, folks. Scaling is trash. I will always say scaling is trash. Scaling does not belong in Neverwinter and doesn't belong in any MMORPG. But the fact is that I don't want to hear that there needs to be filler gear and so people can get this gear and then do dragon hunts. That's not the case. You can literally go do dragon hunts. Now, is it going to be hard? Yeah. If you have a group full of plebs and a group full of Timmies doing dragon hunt with 3 mods on, 3 tier 3 mods, yeah, you're not going to have a good time, and you might be in there for 20 minutes, if not more, but you're going to complete it, is the thing. So, yeah, I don't understand why this was even done. Their item optimization is horrible. Horrible. Give me a reason, as Galactic Underwear stated in his video, give me a reason, give me an incentive to do this event. This is not an incentive. These rings, I could care less about these rings. My build, my stats, everything is already maxed out. I'm not going to go and redo anything just because these rings are here. And now I can get, 5% crit severity on this ring. Except I'm not going to do it personally. It's not enough incentive for me to do this event. Unless this event is extremely easy. Now, the incentive for me is, I said in my preview video of the event that there is a mount listed here and a companion listed here, and we don't know what that is. Is it going to be a new mount skin? Is it a new companion? Or is it just rehashed old garbage that no one is going to care about? Because you can only get these once a day. Am I going to be farming this for the next 100 days trying to get a new mount skin that only drops in Dragonflight? I don't know yet. There's nothing in collections under the mount section or companion that indicates that it's something new, but we just don't know. So, back to this gear. Item optimization, Cryptic, this isn't hard. Okay, this isn't hard. I am some fat guy on the internet. I've been here for 9 years telling you people what to do, and you still don't listen. You just don't listen. You just don't care. Okay? You don't care. You wasted development time redoing Greed of the Dragonflight, which came out in 2015. It's now 2022. And you're just redoing Greed of the Dragonflight. And you put gear in the game that no one gives a shit about. Wearing 3 pieces of this is going to give you 5,000 HP and 3,000 power. Who the hell cares? And to top it off, it's not even new transmute. If it would have been a new transmute and something spectacular, if this would have looked like some kind of amazing Dragon Slayer armor, like I had a big dragon head up here, like is his skull or something, and the armor, or whatever your artists come up with. But no, you literally reused the same skins on gear that no one is going to care about. No one. No one. There is absolutely no reason to do this. Unless you do your daily quest, get this bag, open it up, pray for one of the plethora of rings, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 new legendary rings for something that you can only do once a day. And I can only imagine what the drop rate of the legendary ring is. Right? Right? Yeah. You're a joke. It's a joke. I was really hoping, deep down, that when Gearbox took over the game, that they would tell the company to either start shipping up or get the hell out. Well, Gearbox apparently doesn't care. At least not yet. At least they seem to have no influence on the game itself. Cryptic is still running the game, even though they're just basically under new ownership. But Cryptic Studios is still running the game. So, item optimization is horrible. So Gar, what would you have done to make this better? Okay. How about we increase the item level a little bit? Not making it best in slot. Let's say 1,600 to 1,700. All of the rings should have been mythic to match the new dragon hunts. These would be considered best in slot depending on which rings you're getting. But what the hell's the difference? They practically have the same stats. You're only missing 50 item level on these rings. The gear, The gear should have been, let's say, 1600 to 1700 item level, and the set bonus should have had something to do with dragons. The whole module is revolved around dragons. Who gives a shit about 5,000 HP and 3,000 power? How about wearing 3 pieces of this gave you 25,000 power and, let's say, 3,000 to 3 different statistics: power, crit, combat advantage, power, crit severity, whatever. Wearing all 5 of these pieces, now not only do you get the set of 3 bonus, but the set of 5 bonus should be like 15% damage to dragons and 15% damage reduction from dragons. Both. Not one, you get both. And then all the previous statistics from wearing X amount of sets. So if you wore, let's say, all 5 of this, then you would get the raw statistics, like I said, I'm just throwing numbers out, but 25,000 hit points, 3,000 power, 3,000 critical strike, and 3,000 combat advantage or something, right? And then if you wear all 5 pieces, you also gain 15% damage reduction as well as damage to dragons. Now you have given me incentive to do it, because Tiamat is still a thing. Master Tiamat is the end game material, and it's revolved around dragons. How many dragons are actually in Tiamat? How many are classified as dragons? I don't care. I'm just saying what should have happened. You have to have incentive. I mean, like I said, even the fashion alone, no one cares. No one cares. This is the same stuff. Unless you're a brand new player or a casual player that never did Dragonflight and you never had this armor, then whatever. But us veteran players, us people that have been playing your shitty game for a very, very long time, we do not care. We do not care. Okay? If you would have put in a bonus on here that would have somehow made sense, maybe I would have been interested. But here's the thing. You can see on the left, am I going to give up my tactful leathers for reinforced Dragonflight when I'm going to be losing 7.5 critical strike and 7.5 critical severity to gain 15 damage to dragons and 15 damage reductions from dragons? Right? Chances are, probably not. I would probably still not wear the 5-piece setup. However, if you're a new character, new player, etc., and now you don't have the tactful leathers, or you don't have any of the dragon hunt gear, now you have the necessary steps. Now it makes logical sense. Yes, maybe I should go farm Greed of the Dragonflight and get this armor that has damage reductions, damage to, and raw statistics, and a decent item level, and then I can start farming dragon hunts for the even better gear. How hard is that? How hard is that to figure out? It's not. It really isn't. It's just Cryptic doesn't care. They don't care, and they haven't cared for the past 5 years. So that's the gear. That's my rant on the gear, at least. Next on the list, let's just talk about the Stronghold in general. Whatever happened to the Stronghold update, guys? The Stronghold hasn't been updated in so long. The coffer, for instance, keep in mind that even if you want this gear, you need guild marks. You have to have guild marks. Now, they did increase guild marks to 50k, even though it looks like it's been reverted. We're on the preview server. Let me just look here. Guild marks. No, okay, it's still 50k. For whatever reason, it only shows up a maximum of 30,000 here. But they did increase guild marks a while back to 50,000. You can hold 50,000 at a time. But if you're in an endgame guild, your coffers have been full for years. Years! So how are we going to get these guild marks? You know, it's the whole situation of making random guilds fill in their coffers and leaving and abandoning and going back to your guild. But I mean, guild coffers have been maxed for years. Why? Why have we not had a Stronghold update? Excuse me. Why is there even a limitation on the coffers? Just make it 100 million. 100 million. And it would still fill up. It would still fill up. There needs to be something that a guild leader, guild officer, someone in charge, that they can spend currency from the coffer for things in the guild. Whether it be temporary buffs, temporary structures, etc. Now, they did, a while back, introduce those temporary structures. Which are somewhere. Where are they at? Like right here. These temporary structures can be built and then it takes some of your coffer currency, blah, blah, blah. It's not enough. It's not enough. These limits need to be significantly increased. Just make them 100 mil. 100 mil. Just 100 mil. And they would still fill up. It doesn't solve the problem, but it puts a band-aid on the wound at least. People shouldn't have to make 500 brand new guilds to donate to the coffer and then delete the guild. That shouldn't be a thing. That should never be a thing of farming guild marks. I've had several videos in the past on how to farm guild marks. What Cryptic do? They nerfed it. They nerfed all of them. All the guild mark farming that I have on my channel, all of those methods, they're all nerfed. There are still methods out there. I haven't put out a guild mark farming video in a while because there hasn't been a reason to. So I might put that video out soon, just so people can farm guild marks again. Especially with the Sharandar masterworking, and now we have this Dragonflight bullshit. But like I said, there's just no point. This whole thing is a joke. There's absolutely no reason. And the limitations, again, you can only hold 50 fangs. So basically, you're farming piece by piece by piece. And what's the point? There's no point. This gear is garbage. What's going to happen is people are going to do this once a day just to get this bag, depending on what the mountain companion are even in here, or no one's going to do it at all. Simple as that. No one's just going to do it. It was more wasted development time. It was more wasted time overall that just could have been put elsewhere. I just don't understand. I don't understand. The gear doesn't need to be best in slot, but there needs to be some kind of incentive for me to do it. And I gave the perfect example from that. Again, Galactic made a wonderful video expressing his opinions, and I do agree with one of the things he said, is that stop pushing all this gear into the game. Give us items that our characters need to grow, such as Shards of Greater Empowerment for Mount Callers, even Epic Mount Callers to start out if you're a new player, Enchanting Stones, Glyphs of Potencies. Give us things that our character needs to progress, not all of this gear pushed down our throats all the time, especially in this situation when it's gear that no one is going to use. Simple as that. Maybe little Timmy can convince his guild to do it and get all this gear, but there's no point. Little Timmy's still going to be a bad kid because little Timmy just wasted his time farming Greed of the Dragonflight when he could have just did dragon hunts and got best in slot gear anyway. So those are my rants on this. I don't even know what else to say at this point other than, it just seems like a lot of wasted development that could have went elsewhere. Like I said, Dragonflight has been out for, since 2015. Here's a picture on your screen right now of me hitting for 14 million, 14.4 million to be exact, on Dragonflight back in 2016. Warlocks were very broken a long time ago, and that's when it was fun. That's when the game was fun. When the game was broken, the game was actually fun. We're not allowed to have nice things anymore, so someone doing 14 million damage nowadays is just impossible, but again, this was 2016. Warlocks were just unbelievably broken. I have the full video of this. I'll leave the video of this in the description. It's back when the Legendary Outlaws, best guild in the entire game, hands down. We were doing Dragonflight in like under a minute. And back then, that was that was quite an accomplishment, even with the broken classes. doing Dragonflight in under a minute was still a significant accomplishment. Shout out to all those old school legendary outlaws that still play the game, that are still around. You know, those were the glory days. That was the good times. But yeah, 14.4 million. I'll leave the video below for the full clip of me destroying Dragonflight back then in the glory days. But those times are over, folks. Now we have scaling in the game. We have shitty development in the game. It is what it is. That's all I really got for you. Just a little rant video today expressing my opinions on this greed of the Dragonflight situation here. Strongholds need updated. It's been years and years and years and years and years. The coffers need updated. Nobody can accumulate guild marks if you're in an endgame guild. The coffer has been full for years. Cryptic, you need to come up with a way to update Strongholds. The coffer depletion, give guild leaders, guild officers, whoever has the authority to use coffer currency to buy things for the guild, whether it be buffs, temporary buffs, more vendors, something. There needs to be something to deplete coffer resources. I don't know what. Figure it out. That's your job. It's not my job to tell you what to do, because you don't listen to me anyway. Case in point, Dragonflight is garbage. I gave you the #1 idea and you're not going to implement it, but put damage to dragons and damage reduction to the gear, and that way it's a stepping stone for new players to do Greed of the Dragonflight first before trying to do dragon hunts. But again, at the same time, is it necessary? No. The dragon hunts are easy anyway. So it is what it is, guys. I don't want this video to be an hour long. I just wanted to express some of my opinions on this. It is what it is. Cryptic's going to do what Cryptic's going to do. Hopefully Gearbox sees what's going on eventually and maybe makes adequate changes. This game's got about a year left. I've been saying it for a while now, as we're coming down to the nitty-gritty here, I would assume. I think they're going to try to drag it out to the 10th year anniversary, and I don't know if they'll ever put it in maintenance mode, because as long as they're still making money, they're making money. So they're not going to put it in maintenance mode, but I mean, Cryptic Studios already has a bare minimum staff working on this game, so it's not going to get much better here, folks. Hate to tell you, but it's just cold, hard facts right now is this game is not going to be getting any better anytime soon. So, Dragonflight, garbage. Am I going to do it? Probably, just because, well, until we have confirmation of what exactly the mount skin is and the companion, I'm not going to waste my time with this. There's literally no reason for me to. Even if they, like I said, went as far as just changing the graphics, putting new skins in, give me at least a new transmutant, then I would care enough to do it to get all the pieces of gear. But there's no incentive. Zero incentive to do it. The rings are not enough for me to do it. That's me. You're all entitled to your own opinion. Leave me comments below. Tell me what your own opinion is on the matter. I would love to hear it. Love to debate with you guys all the time. We've been doing it for years. Tell me your opinions on it. Let me know. That's all I got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys real soon.